We'll call the City of Hayes Thursday, May 11, 2023 City Commission meeting to order. I'm going back in time. All 5 commissioners are present. First item on the order of business is the consideration of approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on April 27th, 2023. Questions, changes, or comments on that?
I have none.
Hearing none, they will stand as presented. Now we'll move on to the item number 3, which is the reorganization of the governing body. Before we go on to the nomination and election of mayor and vice mayor, I just wanted to say a few words, if I could, please.
We can't stop him, can we?
Nope. Yeah.
Not for a little bit. So I wanted to start with one of my heroes' quotes that I'm sure you all know who he is. That helped guide my call to service. So it was get action, do things, be sane, don't fritter away your time, create, act, and take a place wherever you are and be somebody. Get action. That was Mr. Theodore Roosevelt, President Theodore Roosevelt. I hope I was able to live by those tenets and serve you all well in this time I was mayor. So I want to thank everyone who gave me the opportunity to serve as mayor. Without the support from the community, I would not be up here right now. For my fellow commissioners, I've received a group who's been phenomenal to work with. Sandy and Sean, both of you helped me anytime I needed help. Your mentorship has been the key to my success, so thank you very much. Toby, you and the rest of the staff of the City of Hayes, any questions or concerns that we have, we can go right to you all, and I know any situation will be taken care of with professionalism and quality every single time. The city is in amazing hands every day at every departmental level. To my family, my wife and daughters have been my greatest supporters. While I was gone at events, meetings, planning sessions, or anything else, my wife kept our life going at home. I would not be up here without her. The City of Hayes is at the cusp of greatness. Tonight we get the opportunity to create history and start the physical process to bring the planet's most precious resource in water to our citizens who have sacrificed so much to ensure we are capable of sustainability. We work together to address housing needs. It is early in the process and does not happen overnight, but we charge forward. We're working on ways to bring jobs and secure jobs in the city through incentives, investment, and communication. We are working to find ways to address the issue of childcare in our community and beyond. I got the opportunity to establish the Youth Leadership Advisory Board to engage the young people in our community, involving everyone at all ages, backgrounds, and skill levels as a strength we must continue to lean on. Each piece we are addressing is larger than we can even fathom, and the size and scope of these key parts of our economy do not frighten us. They empower us to continue to find solutions for each citizen of the City of Hayes. I'm honored to have been a part of this and to be a part of this history, and pray that my time served as mayor made the citizens, my fellow commissioners, staff, and my family proud. So thank you for the opportunity to serve. And now we'll move on to the nomination and election of mayor of the City of Hayes. I will accept nominations.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Sean Musil for mayor of the City of Hayes.
Nomination of Sean Musil.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to nominate Sean Musil as the mayor of the City of Hayes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain? Okay. Passes 4-0. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for everything. I'll make a motion, Sandy Jacobs, next vice mayor of the City of Hayes.
I'll second that. All in favor of that action, please say aye.
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 Abstain.
Passes 4-0. Congratulations, you two.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I got a few things I'd like to read for you. I asked Andrea to give me some stuff that maybe you accomplished, and this is all I got. It's a blank sheet. No.
That's what I figured.
But then I turned it over, so just there's a lot of stuff that happened in 16 months, and you know your class act, everything you do, Mason. Just to, you know, we had, and I've drawn a blank. The gentleman, the president, we had from another country.
Oh, yeah.
You
From
know,
the sister city.
yeah, from a sister city.
From Bemenda 3.
Yeah, and you know, you did your history. You knew all about his country and stuff, and that just shows a lot about you. You know, you welcome anybody to our community, and I'm proud to be part of that. And it's just the way you treat people, whether they email you or contact you, on the street. The way you treat people, I think that's the way we should do it, and hopefully we'll continue doing that. So, just stuff like that. I want to, I think, and people notice it. I have people tell me all the time. They realize how class act you are. So thank you for being that way. And just a couple things. If I read them all, we'd be here all night. And Sandy said I can't do that, so I won't. The first thing is, and I know we're going to approve it tonight, but we started with R9 Wellfield. You know, we're going to approve that tonight. And like I said last week, it gave me goosebumps even talking about last week. I mean, this is history. Been a lot of commissioners before our time up here, but, you know, now we're in the middle of it. And we know it'll be, you know, years down the road before it's all in place. But thank you for being in charge of all that. And another big thing, I think, is fire station number 3. You know, it's going to keep this part of town a lot safer. You were instrumental in the getting the 489 sales tax on the ballot, and you know, the voters passed the bond, first time in over 30 years in Hayes. Multiple housing plats, rezonings in our community. I mean, it's just, and it continues on. Annexations. I didn't realize being mayor for 16 months how much you could get done, buddy. It's a good job. You know, public works, many, you know, streets, and, you know, I know we're all part of this, but, you know, you were the leader of this. You know, the new roundabouts, you know, we just passed, but, you know, you look around town, our public works are always doing something, always getting streets done. Airport land acquisition, it secures our growth. Airport fuel farm project, Arc Park Phase 3 that we just passed, new golf course cart paths, water line improvements, multiple water line improvements. New city attorney to the right here. And I thank you for this. You approved the outdoor dining. It kind of helps some of us downtown. And one thing I still don't agree with, this snake thing that we passed. Anyway, but it is what it is. So, and then this, I'm going to blame it on you. We changed this meetings to 4 o'clock. You know, it works, but I have to give you my opinion. You know that. You approved numerous volunteers, and you know how important that is to the boards, and continued. And to me, one of the most important things is the creation of the Youth Leadership Advisory Board you touched on. And I'm going to lean on you to kind of help me carry that on, because you started, and I know that was kind of your thing, and I'd, you know, really like your help to make sure we do it right and keep it going. I think the importance of having youth in our community and want to be involved, and I think we have a big part of that. But thank you for creating that. Thank you for everything.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Removing.
You got to present it.
You go out front.
Gotten bigger in 16 months.
Getting
Everybody do
instructions.
some shifting.
Yeah, everybody shift.
I listened to Andrea.
Hey, do you have the agenda?
Yep, it's right there.
Oh, it's,
Or did I change it?
I think you did.
You can use mine.
All right, thanks, sir.
Are you going around the other way? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, commissioners. I promise this is going to be better in 2020. It better be.
Oh, Lord.
Well, you know, we just really voted for you because we didn't want you to be able to vote against all the things that we want to push through on the agenda.
Thanks, Reese. Okay, next item on the agenda, non-agenda items, any citizen comments? Megan, do you have anything to say? No? Okay. You got anything? Okay, next item on the agenda would be consent agenda. We got the city commission rules of procedure and the cereal malt beverage license application. Any changes or suggestions?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
A second.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Jacobs, and second by Commissioner Cunningham. I haven't done this in a while.
I know.
I'm learning how to do this
Write it
again.
down.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 5-0. Any other comments on that? Okay. All right, next item on the agenda would be update from the Hayes Area Children's Center. Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessamine Staples. I'm a board member for the Hayes Area Children's Center, and next to me is Brandy Oakley. She's our child care director. Our agenda today, we wanted to provide some current stats on employers receiving care from Hayes Area Children's Center in our community. Also look into some opportunities, recent progression, and challenges we are facing, and then answer any questions or comments. Our mission, Hayes Area Children's Center, provides a safe and nurturing environment for children to learn and grow. We provide a variety of age-appropriate activities that encourage children to explore, learn, and grow in all areas of development. We are committed to providing a warm, caring, and stimulating environment where children can feel loved, respected, and valued. And we do offer care for children actually 2 weeks old up through school age. This is our impact. Currently, Hayes Area Children's Center provides care for, these are last enrollment year's figures. And so we have 79 children served. Within that includes 60 families, may have multiple children there. 112 local employees depend on the Children's Center for Childcare. We have 74 unique companies that depend on our care, and then 14 employers have multiple employees with children served by the center. And I put up our top 5 companies that are represented in the last enrollment year, with Fort Hayes being the top represented company for employment. And that number is probably higher now with our current year that's coming up. Recently, in the last year, we've really identified and keyed in into some occurrences and reasons for some of our financial struggles. The first item that became apparent was if we weren't at full capacity of our students in our center, we were losing more revenue whenever that was happening. And as you see on the chart, we have the black lines represents our percentage of occupancy for our students in care. And you'll see that it varies throughout the last few months. There's several reasons for that. As you all know, there's a really large need for childcare in our community, and so in the last few months, there's been a very much attention to put towards increasing those revenues, the occupancy for the children there, and also making sure we are staffing our rooms appropriately with that, along with meeting the guidelines and kind of changing some ways that we run our rooms. And so that's been the reason for our increased efficiencies. We are no longer overstaffing our rooms to where there's not enough children there. We're keeping those guidelines in mind very much now. But while doing that, we're not also stressing our existing staff by running those rooms too low too. So we're trying to meet the needs and provide quality care, but also looking at where those openings are and filling those as needed. We're also working hard to reorganize the classrooms to provide the most efficient model as the children age through our licensed room requirements. And that's taken a lot of time and some creative thinking, but we feel like we're definitely on the right path. As you can see, January jumped up to 94%, and it continuing to go on up from there. We are able to basically double our capacity for our school age program this summer, which was another big need in the community. And so we're expecting to see consistent increases with our occupancy, as we know that is a huge indicator of our revenue gain or loss in this case. Our future roadblocks ahead. As we feel like we have a very good lead on occupancy and our staffing, we also need to look at how much it costs to have a child in our care. As you can see, the pink lines represent what cost per child per pay period. So we pay 2 times a month, and so you can see that will double in a month where there's 2 pay periods. The cost is, you'll see in October was $505 per child, and as we've gone on through the months, you can see that we have increased efficiencies in our labor to where we are trying to shrink those margins down and reach that just effectiveness. As new centers are opening in our community, we're which we vitally need. We are shifting also to what we pay our staff. Currently, our average rates of our teachers are $11 per hour. We employ 40 staff in our community. That includes 16 full-time positions, which we consider to be over 30 hours a month. Over 30 hours a week. To retain and also attract quality staff, we need to remain competitive with our wages and how we compensate them. We, working towards our goal of remaining financially self-sufficient, we are hitting into roadblocks where we need to increase tuition. So of course that expense is passed on to the parents in our community, and we all know if we're passing more expenses onto childcare with our families, they're not able to spend money as much into the community on other things. We're very cognizant of that, but we also know we need to remain self-sufficient in order to procure other funding resources from outside opportunities without just depending on donations and fundraising. Just to wrap up, our growing concern right now is the increased cost of childcare. To provide quality care, it's pushing our parents in the community. That financial stress on the households is something that is top of our mind. We continue to look for additional opportunities. We're looking into, of course, operational efficiencies along with that. And we've also had some great partnership opportunities. We're going to start with the summer program that really involves USD 489. Fort Hays is graciously hosting our school-age program in one of their buildings while they're not being as used in the summer for their needs. And the Dane G. Hansen grant writer program is providing a grant writer for us for the summer. We also utilize the foster grandparent program, which has been really nice. Those are all things that are at little to no cost to us, but that can provide that care. So that just adds to our sustainability and helps to carry out our mission. Recently, our leadership changes both operationally at the board level and with our leadership team. We're focused on making this operation work for our community. And you can trust that what we say we will do. And we just wanted to provide that update to you as we know childcare is a top of mind in our community. Do you have any questions or comments for us?
Questions?
I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I had personally visited with you some time back, and the strides you've made have been great. And I knew it the first time I sat and visited with the two of you that was going to happen. By my calculations, if Hayes Med you have 8% of your students are Hayes Med employees, you would anticipate that would change when their center opens, I assume. My numbers say that's 61. Is that about right? That is the families that of all of the companies. So this is just the top 5. This is just the top 5. Yes. So that we have a lot of other companies are represented in there. I think right now we have maybe around 5 or 6 families that are Hayes Med employees. Do you have waiting lists?
We do. We have a very full and growing wait list, in order to, so that's a great point. If we would maybe lose a few of those families to the hospital center, we know we can comfortably fill those with our wait list.
It seems like an opportunity, not
right.
anything bad.
Right. We don't look at it as a competition. We look at it as just another partnership for our community. And we have visited with a few of those families, and they've loved the care they've received from us. And their children are older that have grown up through there. They're not looking to move. Just a few families. We understand we might have some that would leave, but we're very comfortable with filling that with our wait list.
Good.
I really appreciate what you and the board and the rest of the staff has been able to do over these last few months of really digging in, figuring out where these opportunities lie. So I appreciate you guys looking at that and then taking some corrective action to move forward into the future.
Thank you.
Thank you
for your
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Appreciate the update.
We also trying to be more active in our community. We double booked ourselves a little bit today. It's Child Care Appreciation Day tomorrow, and so we're helping with the dinner at the Fox, and we also need to help with our staff gift we're doing for tomorrow. So I apologize to present and leave, but we
know
double
that-
booked ourselves a little bit today. I apologize.
We're very excited if you
Very
stay
excited.
around.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda, R9 Wellfield and Pipeline Professional Service Agreements.
The City Commission desires to move forward with design engineering for the R9 project, so city staff and Burns and McDonnell's representatives, as well as the city attorney's office, negotiated design contracts for the wellfield and pipeline projects, and we set them up as two separate projects to possibly take better advantage of federal money. So Brian Myers here with Burns and McDonnell, and he also is represented with Jeff Hudrick, the project managers. I'm going to turn it over to Brian.
Thank you, Toby. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commissioners. I'm Brian Meyer with Burns & McDonnell, and I just kind of want to start out with, I've had the honor of serving the city of Hayes for essentially the last 25 years in various capacities, and I really appreciate that, but it's absolutely exciting to be here today for this milestone in this such a critical project for the city of Hayes. And on the project, I get to serve as the principal in charge. So really my responsibility will be to make sure that it meets your expectations in regard to budget, schedule, quality, all of those aspects that are going to make it a successful project. And to take that responsibility very seriously. With me today is Jeff Hydrick. He'll introduce himself here shortly and talk about the transmission portion of the project and also about our team and the schedule for the project. The presentation today is going to be very similar to what you saw last week. And so I'm going to move through it fairly quickly, but please stop with any questions at any point. So we really, for strategic purposes, broke the project into two parts because they have unique elements to each. The wellfield project, obviously the beginning of it is the hydro investigation. That's a unique element of that. And that's going to be the basis for designing the wellfield and the distribution system on the wellfield site, the storage tank, and then the high service pump stations. Those are the primary elements of that portion of the project. The pipeline, 20-inch diameter, 65 miles, and then connecting into the existing system, the other element. And there was some potential funding strategy built into that decision as well to maintain as much flexibility on the project and any funding mechanisms that may arise. This is the outline of the ranch, and the main thing I want to point out here is really the spacing of the wells. And it was done for a couple of regions, and it was also a strategic decision because we had to comply with the change in point of diversion aspects of the project to meet state regulations, and then also looking for the most the optimized layout of the wells from a production and water quality perspective. So this is the preliminary or conceptual wellfield layout. This will be confirmed as a result of the hydrogeo investigation as the project moves forward. And the way I'm going to talk about this is kind of progress from the production to the collection to the raw water tank and then the transmission. The keys on the wells here are durability, efficiency, and how we can maintain those wells. Those are all important life cycle cost elements. And these are the basic concept designs, which we're looking at 18-inch diameter casing, stainless steel screen, PVC casing, stainless steel pumps, all those things that will be durable and long-lasting in this particular environment. And then as we go through the detailed design, that will serve to refine any of these issues, change any of the, for example, casing or screen diameter, slot size. Those will all be defined out of the hydrogeo investigations. We collect more information at the specific well sites. I guess the other thing I would add about that is that there will be close coordination with KDHE to make sure that all of the design standards are met as we move through every element of the design process. The well houses, I might sound like a broken record as I move through this but durability, once again. Construction that's compatible with the environment that the wells are going to be in so that we can minimize that maintenance, extend the life of any infrastructure that's included. And the well houses also have to be operator friendly so that we can manage the wells and operate them in an efficient way. So those are going to be considerations, and a lot of the way the design will come together will be a result of coordination with staff to make sure that it's structured so that it can be maintained and operated in an efficient manner. Main thing I want to point out on this is the variable frequency drives. That's part of this project for two reasons. It's so that we can manage the well operation more effectively, whether we're looking at water levels or pressure points, and then also so that we can meet demands. So we have a lot of different flexibility in how we program these. The VFDs play a big role in that part of it, in how the pumps are controlled. SCADA, how do we talk to it? What can it tell us? And it's particularly important in this situation where it's a remote well field. And to maximize the amount of data that's coming in so it can understand how the well field is operating, whether there's issues, whether there's leaks, what is the production, not only gives us those instantaneous points of data, but also we can trend with this to say, okay, we may have to do maintenance. A pump is starting to change its performance. So that preventative maintenance aspect of the data we collect, very important as well. Power distribution. Interesting element of this, the ranch is big enough that we've got two different power providers on the ranch. Creates some challenges because you're dealing with two different providers and the loads they can support, improvements they may have to make to provide the power to the wells that are in their service area, but also a little bit of advantage to that as well because we have two power providers. So if there's a loss of power from one provider, we may have power from the other. So there's an advantage, challenges, but significant advantage as well. The raw water collection system, while that sounds very basic, as we talked about, it's significant. Because the ranch is so large and you saw the distribution of wells, it could be up to 17 miles of pipe to collect the raw water from the production wells on the site. So it has to be a very carefully designed system from a hydraulic standpoint so that whatever number of wells you decide to operate at a given time work in concert, and that it could be as productive and as efficient as possible. So that's going to be a big part of this. This is also a durability aspect. What is going to be the best way to maintain those collection lines on site? What material is best? But also maintaining options to make sure that the market, we reflect what is best within the market, give the market competition to get the best prices. So within this parameter of compatibility with the raw water, we'll still look at what's available in the market. Access roads. Once again, the environment down there, dictates that we have to pay particular attention so that we can get to those wells anytime, whether it's the middle of the summer or the middle of the winter. And those are going to also provide the corridor for power distribution and for that collection system that we just talked about. So there's going to be some extra effort put into making sure that this is something that can be maintained, that any underground infrastructure can be located and accessed at any time so that we can conduct maintenance or inspection services. We've got a couple of different options on how we take the raw water to a on-site storage tank. So we've got pre-stressed concrete and glass-lined bolted steel are two of the options. There are probably others that will be looked at too, but this is really kind of the buffer point in the system where the wells will send the water to then we will pump it into the transmission line and on into the connection point at the Smoky Hill well field. High service pump station. The concept design for that looks like probably a 4-pump system with 3 primary units and 1 standby. And at this point, we're also looking at standby power for the pump station, so that if we would lose power from the power provider, that pump station we could continue to operate from the R9 well field. This has been looked at as a phased development project all along. That's one of the things that makes the initial hydrogeo investigation so important, is to look at what the productivity is, what the water quality is at those actual points of diversion that are going to be established, and pick the ones that are going to provide the most immediate value from a water quantity and quality perspective. And as you see, phase 1 is projected to be a 2 MGD, phase 2, an additional 2 MGD. And I think the important thing I want to point out here is that even though the development in phase 1 would be a limited number of wells that can meet that objective, phase 2 would be planned out so that it will be a seamless integration into the overall development without any additional costs as far as changing pump sizes or adjusting pipe diameters. So it's all going to be planned in concert. This just really talks about the elements that are in phase 1, phase 2. The biggest element, as we spoke last week, is the 65 miles of transmission line that is a first run item. And then there's certain elements that we won't build. Like I said, we will plan and design, but won't build until you get into that phase 2, so that you don't create additional maintenance that isn't necessary and won't provide value at the early phases. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff to introduce himself and talk about the 65-mile transmission line.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Mayor, City Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Jeff Heydrich. I am a Senior Project Manager in our water group for Burns McDonnell. This is my 15th year there. I specialize in distribution systems, large transmission main projects. I kind of counting here, but as I was sitting there, I think over the last 6-7 years, I've worked on over 1 million linear feet of transmission lines. So very excited for the opportunity to work on this project. As Brian mentioned, we have 2 different agreements. We have the wellfield portion and then the pipeline transmission main portion. So once everything gets through the wellfield to the raw water tank and at the pump station, then we'll pump through the 65-mile line into your existing system. So we're looking at a 20-inch line now, and that is sized for your future condition. So we want to make sure to take that into account. You don't want to put 65 miles in and then when you go to phase 2 have to redo it. So we'll upsize that so you won't have to do anything with that line when you go to your phase 2. And again, we'll look at different pipeline materials, PVC, HDP, ductile iron. We'll also consider others for specialized situations. Again, we want to have some competition in the market. 65 miles is a lot of pipe. We want to make sure everybody can bid on that and get you all the best price. I won't go through all the names on the list, but I'll touch on a few here. So I will be the project director manager over both projects, so you have the continuity there between the 2 different teams. I'll be your main point of contact. We'll report to Brian as principal in charge, make sure everything's going along as you all want it to, that you're satisfied with what's happening. We also have a few people on here that have been involved throughout, our quality assurance, quality control managers. We have Mike Learberger on the pipeline side. He actually developed the 2015 corridor study for the pipeline. And Paul McCormick will be over the wellfield site. He's been involved since, I think, 2012, and going through all that. On the wellfield side, we also have Daniel Clement involved in numerous structural, electrical, mechanical, site civil, transportation, pretty much the whole gamut for the wellfield site. We do have some crossover between groups. Ryan Scott will be doing the hydraulic modeling. And again, that's what Brian talked about. We need to consider if you have 1 well operating, 2 wells operating, 14 wells operating, make sure we're sizing the pipe and everything so all that works together to pump everything to your ground storage tank. We'll also be sizing the pump station, high service pump station. And then on the pipeline side, we'll work with him to size all the modeling, the surge protection, everything on your transmission main portion. And then we have a whole group of pipeline engineers. 65 miles is a large project, so we want to make sure we have enough capacity and can look at segmenting the project as necessary. Other people involved, Brian Rowe on the environmental permitting side. He's been involved, I think, for the last 6-7 years. He did the initial prairie chicken study out at the wellfield site, and then we'll have surveyors and geotech groups as well. Looking at the preliminary design schedule, if approved tonight, we're going to get started right away. Probably have a kickoff meeting here in the next couple weeks. Over the summer, we'll be doing a lot of the preliminary effort looking at the testing at the wellfield site, getting some survey work going. We'll be looking at the alignment evaluation, really trying to nail down that corridor, how we get that 65 miles to town. Start the survey work for the pipeline, and then it's really kind of a 18-month design timeframe from there to finish up in the summer of 2025. And we'll really look at, on the pipeline, we're not going to wait till we get all the survey to start the 65 miles, so we'll really look at segmenting as we go along to keep that process moving throughout. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
I move we approve the Wellfield Professional Services contract agreement with Burns & McDonnell in the amount of $3,970,685 to be funded from the Water Sales Tax Reserve. And I do it with a great deal of excitement and pride.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jake.
You're not doing very well.
I'm not doing very good. Motion by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Reese, or Barrick. Jeez. Better start this over. Any questions or comments, guys?
Most important question is, who cooks the water? We're getting all this raw water. You, Jeff? But more, the pH of the water, the hardness, is that going to affect any of the pipeline as it's being pumped for 65 miles? As we're gonna get
Part of
bullets?
this, and then the initial look at the wells and the water quality, we'll do water quality tests and do an analysis of the water age and how that all that's going to blend in with your existing system. So that's part of what we'll look at as part of it.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
I move to approve the professional services agreement for the R9 pipeline project in the amount of $4,058,683 to be funded from the Water Sales Tax Reserve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Reuter, second by Commissioner Cunningham. Any other? Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. This is, like I said last week, this is history for our community. A lot of people for many years have been working on this, and I'm excited for you guys to get going on this.
We're excited to be a part of it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I almost cried. Almost cried.
I didn't do that.
I know, it was going to be me. Between the two of us, you never know.
I think we should, though, maybe.
Oh.
Next item on the agenda, commission inquiries and comments. Commissioner Reuter.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you all again for the opportunity to serve, and looking forward to your next term here, Sean. No pandemics, please.
Please.
Yeah. Other news, I got to share a wonderful night last Sunday with the Kiwanis group here in Hayes for celebrating their 70th anniversary here. The amount of work that they've done was absolutely incredible. And then I got an opportunity to submit a letter of support for Grow Hayes and their grant opportunity for the Grove Child Care Center. So that's seeing all the wonderful things that people are moving forward to is great to hear about. And then this, I mean, this is just, it's happening. It's so exciting. Get some water. And it started raining a little bit when we were here a little bit ago. A little bit, but that's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Cunningham.
Just echoing a little bit from what you've already said, that we made history here, and we still have a ways to go, but it's a big step. And then congratulations to all the graduates. That will be this weekend. I'm sorry, I'm going to cry now. I know. But for
Don't
Hayes
start
and
that.
Hayes High. So yeah, congratulations to all of them.
Yep. Well, again, congratulations to all the graduates. I'm excited. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more rain than the last few times. I'm okay with no hail, but the rain would be great. And I am excited to get this project started. Also, it's one of the reasons I was excited about running for this office in the first place. Schools and water, and so it's very exciting to. It'll be more exciting when we actually start putting some
Right.
pipe into
Yeah.
the ground.
You go.
So I will reserve my tears until I see some actual things going in the ground, you know.
One step at a time.
But anyway, yes. appreciate all your work and efforts. Former Mr. Governor Mayor and present Mr. Mayor. So, appreciate everything that everybody here does.
Commissioner Jacobs?
I personally want to really express my gratitude to Mason. I think you have been a pride for this community as mayor. I know you loved every minute of it, and it showed. But the community is better because you were mayor, and it's prepared now for the next step. And Sean, I really congratulate you. We all know that this is not, we don't rule the world up here, but we make a lot of decisions, and the way we work together, the five of us, is phenomenal. Yep. I've watched the commission for many, many, many years, and I'll tell you, there's never been a working body that I've been more proud, and to be able to be part of is exciting. The water, I watched the continuum of time, summer of 2025. I want to hold you guys to that because I'm done at the end of 25. But appreciate it. Appreciate everybody, particularly Mason, for your commitment, and Sean for stepping forward.
I also continue, Mason, I can't say better what you do. You do a great job, and I've said this to many people, I think you've got, in the future, not anytime soon, but you got a bright future ahead of you, and I look forward to watching, where you go from here. But we're not done with you yet, so. I also, and you almost got me a second ago, I also want to congratulate all the graduates. Corey, my son, out in the audience today was
He's not going to make it. I'm telling you, he's not going to make it.
your last day of school. It just blows my mind. My baby boy. But anyway, I congratulate them all. I'm excited. Got a lot of parties stored around this town this weekend, so it's going to be crazy. And Corey, congratulate you and your class, and wish all the graduates the best. And we're adjourned.